This week on Got Clutter, Get Organized, the conversation. You've been looking at the news just like I have. You've been seeing the floods, you've been seeing the natural disasters. And it is a time for us to get our affairs in order so we can grab and go. We can grab what we need and go, which is why this week's guest, Jaclyn Strauss, has a product called Haven Holder. And you literally put all the important documents you need in that product and you grab it and you go in those emergency situations. So stay tuned for this week's conversation. Hello and welcome to Got Clutter, Get Organized, the conversation. I am excited because during Emergency Preparedness Month, I thought it was important to bring on someone who could really provide a product that would help us really, protect all of those documents that sometimes we need to just grab and go. So I have Jaclyn Strauss here, and she has created the Haven Holder. I am excited to hear all about it. A lot of you may have, seen Jaclyn in our conversations before. So, Jaclyn, I'm so excited to have you returning.
I am so happy to be back, Janet. You are one of my favorite, and the value that I see you bringing to people and clients all the time is just inspiring. So, thank you.
So, my first question is, what inspired you to create this?
So, emergency called. It was a personal emergency during childbirth for me that I am the chief mom officer of everything in my house. And I had a post delivery hemorrhage with the birth of my second child.
Okay.
And at that point, I knew where everything was, but nobody else did. And as a result, becoming to, my near death, I was thinking in my head during the process, how is my husband and how are my parents going to find everything?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what I should have been thinking about in the middle of trying to fight for my life, but it was because we try and be everything to everyone. The other thing that inspired me is I have been born and raised in Florida, South Florida, my entire life. So I am definitely not a newbie to hurricanes and natural disasters. I have personally lost things that have meant a lot to me during flooding in my own house. And so as a result, I wanted to put everything in one package with a bow around it, more like a waterproof bow, to keep things safe. And that's exactly what I've done.
And that is great. And you and I had just briefly talked about this because I don't think sometimes we even think about when these natural disasters come, how they impact us. Not only, while we're in the midst of it, but even afterwards, which is, I just wanted to know, why did you really feel the need? Because you were sharing with me, it's waterproof, it's fireproof. And why did you feel the
Yes.
need for that?
Absolutely. And great question. So I am a CPA by profession. So I also take care of a lot of clients that have suffered the same being in South Florida. And that's being, where I surround myself with the majority of my clients. And it's that aftermath of needing that insurance policy to get the ball rolling with FEMA or other agencies. And so, if your information and if that policy got completely soaked, right, or burnt in a fire, like what we saw out in California, the process to then go and try and get the information as far as what's my policy number, what's my coverage to review it, holds up the entire, you can't even start anything, Janet, as far as recovery is concerned without the basic information first.
Yeah.
And so you need that, and it needs to be safe, and it needs to be with you at all times. You cannot lift a heavy filing cabinet on your way out the door, right? We have limited things that we can take with us, and we need something small, compact, but full of things that will bring us value of peace of mind. And that's what we've done with the Haven Holder.
And one of the things you did mention was the insurance policy, because I have heard people say that, it just took them so long to get things processed and they didn't have this, that, and the other. But are there any, like a couple of other documents that sometimes people just really don't think about until it happens to them?
Absolutely. So I went through the FEMA process, and I can
Okay.
tell you that there are a lot of things that they ask for.
Okay.
So you're going to need the title, right? The initial, your home documents, the purchase, the mortgage information, again, the insurance. And typically, at least in Florida, we carry three insurance policies for our homes. We have wind insurance, we have flood insurance, and then we also have contents insurance. All of those policies carry and cover different things, if anything at all. And so you've got to be able to show that. Of course, you need your official identifications. So your ID card, your license. If it's not your license, you prove it via passport. And then the other thing that you need is to show that you are actually the homeowner. So sometimes that's a simple thing like your electric bill. But all of those things need to come together to be able to submit, because you cannot submit anything until you have everything ready to go. It's not like, oh, let me upload this and come back. It's got to get done all at once, or else the process is completely stalled, which is already typically a very lengthy process.
Wow. Wow. I mean, so many things are going through my head, Jackie. So, what about so somebody listening and maybe they don't have the physical stuff. Is there anything for like our digital assets? Because a lot of us, we feel that's the best way to do things, but sometimes, even in disasters, those things can get ruined.
Right. And I am a huge component. I actually had an application that I created to store all the digital things. But at the end of the day, Janet, like you mentioned, we all know that we're supposed to go digital, right? The world is moving digitally. But what we found with that product is that at the end of the day, because this information is so sensitive and because it's also time consuming to get it all scanned and uploaded and, in digital format, people just don't do it. And that's the bottom line. Sometimes the old school way is the best way. And being able to hold something, I don't know if you can see it, but to
Yes.
hold
Yes.
something
Mm-hmm.
in your
Mm-hmm.
hand,
Mm-hmm.
right? And take this thing with you
Mm-hmm.
is the best way. And so, from a digital standpoint, we get our bank statements sent to us digitally. We get our insurance, policy sent to us digitally. And
Mm-hmm.
I would say absolutely save it. You flag that in your inbox.
Okay.
You absolutely organize it in digital folders, whether it's a Google Drive, a Dropbox, whatever your comfort level is, have it, because we're transient, we're on the go. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know, right, when you're going to get back into your house with a natural disaster. They keep you out of there sometimes. If it's a hazard on the street,
Oh
they
yeah.
won't let you back into your house for
Yeah.
days, for weeks. You just, it's so unknown, right? There's no right or wrong or playbook to this, because it's mother nature we're dealing with. And same thing with a medical emergency. You don't know, right, how long you're going to be in the hospital or in a rehab facility, or going to a family member's house to be taken care of after something. And so being able to have your information with you, and certainly having it digital, but I think also knowing that it's with you and giving that peace of mind. We all like to hold something and touch something and have it in our hands. And that's what we've done.
So, Jacqueline, as a CPA, but also as a person who created this product, how does somebody get started? I mean, because it can be a little overwhelming when you really start thinking about all the stuff that you
So
need to probably grab. But
so
how do they get
overwhelming.
started? Yeah, just get started.
Absolutely. So, what we've done is very methodical from the
Mm-hmm.
point of trying to make it as simple as possible. So,
Mm-hmm.
with every single Haven holder comes a document checklist. These
Okay.
are the most important things, right, that we want you to think about. And then it comes with very important, necessary things that you should have filled out. So whether it's your emergency plan that you work
Hmm.
on with those that are close to you, that are in your household, where are we going to meet? What are we going to do? Your medical info. In a case of a medical emergency, the first question that's going to be asked of your loved ones is what's their medication list? Do they have any allergies? The basics. That's it. So we want to record that, and we provided a place for that. Also, a password tracker. There are, of course, password holders online that are wonderful, LastPass and all the things, right, Janet?
Yeah.
But a lot of us are old school and we want to have it written down. We don't want to trust it in one digital place. So here's a place for you if that's what your comfort level is. And finally, end of life directives is another one that we put down. So those are the five most important things that we thought we could help you gather and walk you through. Then
Mm,
there are over 120 pre-labeled tabs to
okay.
put on the folders, the file folders that come in your Haven holder. Now, you're not going to put 120 different files in here at all. This is meant for you to look at and say, okay, what's important to me? Is it my health and medical records? Or is it my health insurance documents? My vaccination records? Is it a power of attorney? My birth certificates? My passports? All the things. Is it my vehicle title and registration? So we go ahead and we've made all the labels for you, and the user goes ahead and picks what they want to put in their Haven holder, because everything holds different levels of importance to each one of us. And we're not here to tell you what's most important to you. Pet information, right? That is so important to so many of us. So
Hmm.
you might want to include that in a folder that is in the Haven holder.
Well, you've made it so easy, but you're right. I mean, like, for example, I don't have a pet, but I know so many people who do. You know, so many
Mm-hmm.
people who live independent on where they live. Some people in cities, they don't have cars, vehicles. But that is really good that they're able to personalize it as well. And of
Yep.
course, if you were thinking, I was like, yeah, that's a great gift. That's a great, like, for somebody who just gets a home, or just, that's just a
Yes.
great gift for someone. So, Jackie, with all of this, because I know your wife, your mother, you've got the business, your creator, you're this, that, and the other. How do you stay organized?
So what I do is really keep everything that is necessary in my one spot. So,
Hmm.
for example, my husband just started a new job and he needed to go fill out his I-9 form. He needed his passport, Janet. So guess what? In the Haven holder, this bag is waterproof. Okay, it was inspired. I don't know if anyone has ever seen the cases that you can put your cell phone in and then go swimming with. That's what this was inspired by. So it comes with a small one, and this fits right in the front. There's a front center of our Haven holder. It fits right there. So I'm able to say, here's your passport, right? I'm not searching for it. I just went through the back to school stuff for my kids. I needed to provide a copy of their social security cards. There's a card holder in here. I also keep really special pictures to me, like my son's first T-ball picture. I never want to lose. He's now almost 14. And
Wow.
so you decide, I know it's crazy, but I'm going to tell you something, Janet. I found and personally tested myself and ordered over 10 of those fireproof bags from Amazon.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Because everyone suggested that you put your stuff in a fireproof bag. Well, they're advertised fireproof and waterproof. Well,
Hmm.
I wanted to prove that they worked or didn't work. I was 10 for 10 that they did not work. Everything I put in there was soaking wet. I didn't even get to the fire testing part because anything I put inside of the ones I ordered was ruined. Okay. That's not the objective. And so I am not here to suggest to my clients
Mm-hmm.
anything that I personally have not tested myself and know
Mm-hmm.
that works.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth of the matter is that none of those fireproof that look like this,
Yeah.
none of them will keep water out. None of them. So what we did is we had a the larger size
Mm-hmm.
of that waterproof bag that you saw
Mm-hmm.
my passports in
Mm-hmm.
created to fit the Haven holder. So does
Mm.
it seem like a couple steps? It does, but
Yeah.
it's for protection. So
Mm-hmm.
your Haven holder gets protected in this large bag that I have submerged underwater for 24 hours, put a dumbbell on top of it, Janet, because I wasn't playing,
Yeah.
and no water got through. I can tell you everything inside was as dry as can be. I then place it in this fireproof bag, which definitely was made, especially a lot of them are Velcro. I opted for these buttons because they are fire resistant. All the stitching is fire resistant. The zipper is fire resistant. So the way all of this was crafted was in a very thoughtful, deliberate way because I've seen the things, all the things, and nothing was doing the job.
And I'm glad you said that, Jacqueline, because the woman who is my attorney, when I was just looking at some things, she said you always have to remember not only fireproof but waterproof. She said
Yes.
because, and that's in that conversation, she said because when the fire department comes in, their job is to put the fire out, and they're going to use as much
Mm-hmm.
water as possible. So therefore, stuff might get ruined. So
Janet, I haven't even thought about that.
yeah,
I mean, that's really thought provoking because what
yeah,
I'm thinking about is the television lately being filled
yeah,
with all of these cities
yeah,
flooded.
yeah.
I mean, we've never seen anything like this.
Mm-mm.
And
No.
I'm here in service because I want people to be protected. And
Mm-hmm.
if it is this most simplistic way, this is the solution and this is it. We've got to do it. And this is not a time consuming exercise at all
Mm-mm.
because at the end of the day, when there is an emergency, and there is a natural disaster, we are panicking and we are
Yeah,
grabbing
yeah.
whatever we can get our hands on that we
Mm-hmm.
think we need. And
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes we leave and say, I forgot that.
Yeah.
And let's prevent the forgetting it when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to what we need. Because
Mm-hmm.
as soon as this natural disaster passes, we're going to want to start getting our affairs
Yeah.
back in order.
And you're so
And
true.
this is it. This is the only way.
Yes, sir. That's true. That is true. That is true. Wow. Well, Jacqueline, how can people get your Haven holder? How can they connect with you?
Just by going to secondvault.com. It's there, and we will definitely, Janet, run a special for your listeners and for your clients. So you will share that code. Therefore, all of your listeners will get a special discount and will actually make it that much bit more for the month of emergency preparedness month because we really are, as I said, here in service and really hope that everybody is inspired to get things together and to protect themselves and give themselves peace of mind.
Well, I'm inspired just to tell everybody what you just shared with me. I mean, of course, I'll just do it with this interview. But thank you so much, Jacqueline. I mean, that was really eye opening because, like you said, we're looking at the news and we're like, I've never seen this. Look at the flooding. Look at this. Look at that. Yeah. So we all need it. We all need to get our things in order, but not only in order, but just to protect them. So when we do have to grab and go, we've got the peace of mind knowing we've got everything we need. And then when we're ready to, and it may not be anything, but then if we do have to rebuild, we've got everything we need. Well, Jacqueline,
Absolutely.
thank you as always for joining me. I enjoyed our conversation.
Same here. Thanks, Janet.
So, what was your takeaway from my conversation with Jaclyn Strauss? I hope you are going to take advantage of the discount, which is GCGO for 20% off, and get your own haven holder, but also maybe buy one for a family member or a friend, because when disaster hits, we want to have that peace of mind and knowing we're grabbing something that has everything that we need and we're going to safety. And in the event that we do have to begin to rebuild, we can do it with dealing with a little less stress. So let me know what your takeaway from this week's episode was. And of course, please share this with a family and friends who could also benefit from this conversation. So until next time, you have a clutter free day.